Devin McCourty is brought to you this week by the Top Defense. If you've been injured, Catches Law Group. At Catches, you pay nothing unless they win. They are the official law firm of the New England Patriots, and Devin McCourty joins us this morning on the Harbor One Hotline. Hey, Devin.
Good morning.
Wiggy is asking for first question this morning, so Wiggy, go ahead with Devin McCourty.
All right, Dev, good morning. So my question is this. When we look at this Patriots offense and the struggles that they're having, I'm starting to wonder, is Billy O just not able to scheme up players getting open and scheme up a good offense because maybe he's just not innovated enough to do that in this new NFL? What do you agree with that, disagree with that? Where do you stand on that?
It's tough. I think that I would be interested to see when they go back and they watch the film the next day, what the film shows. Like, I know Evan Lazar posted some clips of Tyquan Thornton open. Like, I know he had the big drop, which, will be what everybody walks away from in the game. But there were a good amount of plays, I would say about 3 to 4 plays, where he was open 15 to 20 yards down the field, which would have been big completions in the game that, to me, at some point would have got them in the 30-yard line, close to the red zone, where you'd have been able to open it up. The hard thing for this offense is they never get anything going enough to see, like, Billy O be able to open the playbook up. And then when the quarterbacks have been moving, you had a different quarterback, I think that's been hard, the offensive line. So not to throw out a ton of excuses, I think it's hard to just come out and say, like, hey, he's not innovative enough, this just doesn't work. I think that could definitely be part of the problems, but I think this offense is so hard to see exactly what it is. But I think as a fan, you sit back and you watch the Cincinnati Bengals get out there and play, and you're like, all right, Jake Brown is getting out there and playing. Look at the game plan. Look what they're calling. You watch Jordan Love get out there and they're playing. But I think when you look at both those games, you look at there's weapons everywhere. Like Cincinnati, if Jake Browning can just play decent football, get the ball out on time, not make the big mistakes. Like he's throwing the ball to Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, handing it off to Joe Mixon, where I think New England, they don't have that. But I think at times when you break down the film, they have guys open at times, but then it's like somebody gets a pressure, or there was times Tyquan was open on the backside, but it was like Zappe was looking to the front side. So it's like, all right, was the read supposed to take him there? Was the bad read and play call set up, or was it bad execution? It's hard to know because so much goes wrong with this offense every single week that it's hard to just point a finger at one thing.
Devin, when you look at the offense and things going wrong, it does kind of seem like some of these guys are just giving up out there. Wiggy and I were just talking about Hunter Henry, and on Sunday, it did seem like at some points he just wasn't putting that extra effort in. Do you think that there's an attitude issue when it comes to this current team, and that's coming out on the field?
I don't. I think when you sit down and you watch games on Sunday, I think you see plays where it looks like, oh, man, this guy could run a little faster. He might think that this play's done. Like Deontay Johnson was a huge issue 2 weeks ago when he just kind of comes off lazy after he drops the ball for a touchdown. And it's like, all right, is this an attitude issue, or is this a guy taking a play off? Like, that kind of was hot for, a few days where that play was egregious. I think it's hard to start just questioning guys' effort from like a play or two. Listen, I think everything gets magnified when you're bad. Like this team has 2 wins on the whole season. We're going into week 14. You have 2 wins. Like every single time a guy doesn't look like they're running full speed, you're going to question attitude. You're going to question want to. You're going to question all those things simply because the team isn't good. I know Hunter personally. Like I don't think that's a part of his character and how he competes out there. I think you also see other plays where he's diving out on the floor. He's trying to finish blocks. So I always try not to look at bad teams and then pick out the certain plays where it's like this isn't up to par and ignore the other plays where it's like this guy's giving the extra effort, this guy's still pushing, this guy's still trying to go out there and win. And I think that's what's hard about watching this team. Yeah, they have a couple blowouts this year, but they have games like these last 3 games, it's 10-7, it's 10-6, it's these games, it's 6-0. It's not like you're watching like your team just get blown out. Like they play a Chargers offense that for most of the year has been very effective, and the Chargers just went out and played Baltimore tough the week before, and you watch them play New England, and you're like, dang, like we could have won that game easily. So I don't think the effort and want to is an issue for this team.
Shime's lead this morning was rather Grinch-like. He wants no further sympathy for Mac Jones. I wanted to ask you about Mac Jones and where he was his rookie season, where he is now, and whether you put more of that on the organization not handling him well, or you put that on Mac Jones.
I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. Everybody in the organization is raved about the guy's work ethic, how he's there early, he's there late. So to me, like, it's hard to just say, like, it's his fault. Like, you can say, I have no problem if someone in their opinion says, hey, I just don't think the guy's that good. Like, I don't see it. Like, yeah, he had a good rookie year, but I just don't think he's the guy that everyone kind of made him out to be. Like, I have no problem if that's your opinion, but I don't think no matter how you feel about him, I don't think you walk away from the situation and say, hey, you know, this situation that they built around him was really good, and he just didn't get the job done. Like, to me, there's no way, if you're going to be factual, you're going to look, there's just no way. You had 3 different offensive coordinators in 3 years. They had different receivers and I would say impact players kind of each year. All have been kind of moving parts. Seemed like he kind of built a connection with Jacoby Myers, then Jacoby's gone. So, like, it would be hard for me to just say, hey, like, it's all him. Like, Kendrick Bourne, his rookie year, goes out there, has a kind of a career year. Then the next year, Kendrick Bourne doesn't really play at all. So, you know, I think it's hard to just say, hey, it's all on Mac. And, again, I have no problem with the guys that watch and say, hey, I evaluated this quarterback, his arm strength, his mobility. Like, if you want to come up with all of those metrics that you think makes a quarterback good and you think he doesn't hit those certain criteria that you like in a quarterback, I get that. But I think overall, if you said, hey, which side do you see more at fault, to me, it's no doubt the organization, what's been put around him for these straight 3 years.
Devin, you just alluded to Kendrick Bourne, great rookie year. We were all shocked. I think it was even after the first game of Mac's second season where Tom Curran reported that Robert Kraft was miffed at Kendrick Bourne's lack of involvement in the offense. You mentioned Jacoby Myers. From all of our best guests, seemed to be Mac's most favorite weapon, best, the security blanket. He's gone. Why did Bill make it so hard on Mac in ways that seem self-inflicted?
I mean, I think it's you try to make decisions based on what you think is best. It's just I think sometimes we get the opportunity to now look back and say that's a bad decision. I think if we went through the history of Coach Belichick and that team, there's a lot of times working in media that you've had, opinions or whatever you want to call it and say, like, this is wrong. Like, there was a host of people in 2014 saying, this is ridiculous. Like, Jimmy Garoppolo deserves a chance to be out there over Tom Brady. Like, now we look back at that and we say, that's asinine. Like, no one would expect. But, like, I remember being a player on that team and, like, someone really asked me that question. Like, that was a going theme going on in the media as far as this team needs to reboot. Like, it's over. So I think now we can look back at all those decisions and say, yeah, like, those are bad decisions. Like, Kendrick Bourne, no matter what went on the second year he was there, he needed to be out there because there wasn't a better option at receiver out there. And then you look at Jacoby now and you see he's been effective in Las Vegas, even though that thing has been in turmoil and there's ups and downs. He's still been pretty impactful for that team. So, I think hindsight's 20/20. And obviously, that's how you're judged as a coach. So it is what it is. But I think we can't just say, like, hey, he kind of did this to Mac. I don't think it's on purpose. Like, he did this to Mac, which I wouldn't want that narrative to be running with because I don't think it was done to say, like, hey, I'm going to be the head coach of this team, but I want the quarterback to be in the worst case situation so we continue to lose. Like, I just don't think that was in the front of Bill's mind.
Speaking of the front of Bill's mind, I just need your help because Wiggy played for Bill, you played for Bill. I don't understand how the team benefits from Bill Belichick not saying who the starting quarterback would be? What is your explanation to people who've never been in that room why he does that?
Honestly, because I don't think he thinks there's a quarterback that should be starting on their team right now. I think it's very similar to Robert Saleh and the Jets. Like, I mean, they benched Zach Wilson, they put in Tim Boyle, they released Tim Boyle, they signed Brett Rippon, they still haven't named a starter. And I saw him in a press conference. He was like, I'm just not ready. And like to hear how he said it was like almost like, you guys are watching the film. You see what we're putting out there. Like, I don't know who the hell I want to start. And I think New England's in the same boat. I think they still look at the attributes of all the quarterbacks on the roster, and I think they still walk away and they say, Mac Jones is the best quarterback we have on the roster. But then I think they say, but like, we can't put him out there. So, all right, we put Bailey Zappi out there. We scored no points on Sunday. Like, all right, do we put Bailey Zappi back out there? And I know I'm a part of the media fan club right now. I want to see Malik Cunningham. Is Malik Cunningham ready to go out there and be a starting quarterback in the NFL? From what I saw in the preseason and how I know an NFL season goes for a guy who's playing receiver and quarterback, my guess would be hell no. But I still want to see him out there because I don't have to coach a team. I just want to see entertainment. Like, I want to see guys go out there, run around, let it rip. The same reason I want to see Jameis Winston go play for the New Orleans Saints, because he's going to let it rip. He's going to go out there and try to make plays. So I do. I think that's the biggest thing right now for Bill. I think he looks and he's like, I don't know who I want to name the quarterback, even though we're going to divvy up the reps and we're going to have some kind of plan. I just don't know. Like, I'm not so comfortable even going out there saying that would be my guess.
As a guy who loved playing here and loved this franchise, what was your first thought when this team was flexed out on Monday Night Football?
It was like, I was going to that game. I work on Sunday, so I was like, all right, Monday night, I'm going to go check out the game. And then it got flexed, and I was like, damn, like, it is what it is. And I thought the ironic part of that is I guess Kraft was like one of the main people saying, like, let's get this in, being able to flex out of Monday night. So it happens, man. I think it's also awesome to be able to say, hey, for 20-something years, my organization was never bad. Like, we were always a team that was always like, I remember being in the locker room like, damn, we got a 1 o'clock game. We got plans. Like, I'm about to have the family over. We're going to go out to the bar after the game. And then we would get flexed to a Sunday night football game. And I'm like, man, like, I like playing on Sunday night, but I also want my extra, like, few hours of off time and rest. So for a long time, they got to be that model franchise that was always on prime time, always in the big games. You got to sometimes take the lumps with all of the wins that they've had.
Dev, one of the things that I kind of look at, and I don't agree with people who say, oh, it's about the talent, and I guess you're the perfect person to ask. You were there last year. You were there in Mac's rookie year. Other than Jacoby Myers, the talent is relatively the same when you start to look at on offense. So I don't get why so many people instantly want to now say there's no talent on offense. I don't think you have elite talent. I agree with that. But I also think the league has now figured out who Mac Jones is, and that's why your offense struggles. It's not about the lack of talent.
Yeah, well, and I agree with that. I don't think you have 2 wins. You're 2-10.
Yeah.
Like, it's not one issue. It's not like, hey, if we just had 5 other players. Like, I remember talking to my brother when he was in Cleveland in 2017, and he went and said it to the media, like, I'm in this locker room. I've been in other locker rooms. This team isn't an 0-16 team talent-wise. Like, no group of players just go out there and win games without good coaching, and no coaches go out there and just win games with a bunch of bad players. Like, to me, it's a combination of everything. Like, there's enough talent to be better than 2-10. Like, there's no doubt about it. The quarterback position hasn't played well all year, no matter what you want to say, who they're throwing. Like, they haven't played well all year. When you factor in interceptions, you factor in misreads, you also throw in the offensive line, whether you want to say it's the most talented group or not that super talented group, elite talent. Like, when you look at the guys that are there and their capabilities, when you watch them now, and you look back at the whole season, they haven't always played at a good level. Like, that's another factor in there. Some of the schemes and stuff that they've done hasn't been up to par every single week. So to me, it's always a combination. When you're not able to win games, it's coaching, it's players, it's everything put together. Sometimes it's like, hey, we might have some talent, but we didn't put together from a front office standpoint the best group of players that should be out there on the field. Like I said it earlier in the year, just even from their safety room, like they have a bunch of safeties that are all very similar. Like, has that affected and impacted the defense and allowed them not to be a really good defense? No, they've still been very productive. They've still been one of the best defenses in the league. But I think when you start to go back through all of the games, are there some plays here and there that might have been able to change the game from being like a 7-point loss and being a 3-point win? Sometimes it's decided on how you place your personnel out there on the field that does get the win. So I think it's tough. I think this team is built on defense. The offense obviously hasn't played well, but I think Bill even said it at this last game during halftime, like he would like the defense to get some turnovers. And if you look at the defense, they're towards the bottom of the league in creating turnovers, which to me is the difference in having 2 wins. Yes, you can't really blame the defense for anything, but if they were able to create turnovers, I think that would help this offense who struggles to ever go, forget 80 yards, to go 60 yards or 50 yards on a drive to score a touchdown is like nearly impossible. They need some short fields. They need the defense to kind of, score or get close. Like, they need that, and they haven't been able to do that. They played really great defense all year when you talk about yards, points allowed. But I think the one thing that will help this team more than anything is they were able to create games where they're having 2 or 3 turnovers to really set the offense up to score.
Devin McCourty, always a pleasure. We will talk to you again next week. Thank you for taking the time this morning.
All right, guys. Have a good one.